Good morning. Well, we've all heard of Saginaw's notorious nickname, Sag Nasty, but we're talking to a local artist this morning who's working to change a lot of that through graffiti. And we're looking at some of his works, which include Saginawesome and Saginaw Love. And a lot of the graffiti under the Court Bridge is, again, pretty derogatory, but these are just trying to send a more positive message. And that's why we're talking with him this morning, kind of inspirational, and talking about not only, you know, your works of art, but also art revitalization going on across Saginaw and, you know, getting the youth involved and all that. And how do you think this is working to at least turn the page into a more positive light?
Well, what the murals do is you can take areas of the city that normally have their high crime rates or places they don't really want to go, or dark alleys, under bridges, and by taking and actually putting basically better graffiti on top of the graffiti, it creates a basically a tourist attraction, and it draws people to those areas for getting their senior pictures taken, wedding photos. I stopped photographing my own work about a year ago because I get people send me pictures that they take in these locations. And what it does is that you can't go to an area and do something shady and suspicious or do drugs or anything like that, because what happens is as you're down there, people show up with cameras. And so what happens where a mural is at, crime rates usually drop about 75% in specific locations around the murals. So not only are you...
That's just amazing to me. And we were talking earlier, I mean, we both read the book called The Tipping Point. It kind of reminds me of something like that for those of you who have read that out there. And so do you think just the pride that you put into your work, you know, helps people also take pride in their city?
Yeah, it's about taking ownership in problems. The city basically has no tax base. And to fix a problem in the city, I mean, if you recognize a problem and you have the ability to fix it, you should fix it. I mean, and nobody's going to kind of stopping you from doing it. I mean, I just went and asked permission. People thought I was doing all this stuff illegally. I went to the Riverfront Development Authority and asked them if I could just paint the bridges, and they're like, "Go ahead. It'll look better than what it looks like now." And I recruited the vandals to help me do the projects, and met them, and now they're not vandalizing property anymore, which works.
It's truly inspirational, and you know, just a step in the right direction. And I hope a lot of people are going to follow you on that one. This is the work of Eric Shantz, and these two murals read Saginawesome and Saginaw Love, a story we covered earlier this year. And most of the graffiti on the bridges, of course, as you know, derogatory and profane, but these two works are really helping to push a more positive message. And here I am this morning with the artist behind it all, Eric Shantz, and we've been talking all morning, you know, about positive messages and the artwork that you do, but we're concentrating a little bit on something special this morning, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so what we got behind us, I don't know if you can see it or not, is a bench, or I'm sorry, a board from a bench. And where was that taken from? That was
actually along the Wicks Park Drive Park. It's one of the old picnic tables that have kind of rotted away.
Okay, and talk about the involvement, because this is like a really great story, and I really want you to share the whole thing with us.
What I did to create positive press for Saginaw, because like I said, we get a lot of press for negative issues and the crime, and I wanted to push how like art can actually, you know, generate like positive press. So I took this song "America" by Simon & Garfunkel, and took all the lyrics and wrote them on 28 locations around Saginaw, most of them in areas that you'd never go unless you were, you know, either a photographer or doing something shady. And so I pieced it together, made a video, and did photographs of all this stuff like that. And the piece was basically on urban abandonment, all gone to look for America. And in Saginaw, at one point General Motors employed 26,000 people in Saginaw, and now it's like around 800, I think, 600, 800. It's not very many. So a lot of people have left. And so by doing this art piece, it creates a conversation. It got people thinking about that, and
Paul Simon took notice of you, correct?
Paul Simon took notice of it after it was in the newspaper. I got called by his manager within a couple of days, and also is on NPR on All Things Considered, talking about art as a revitalization tool for Saginaw. Most people don't realize that art is an industry. Art creates tourism. Art creates jobs. And so by doing art projects and creating art press about Saginaw, people will see Saginaw as an artistic, creative town. There's culture. You know, cities are defined by their culture, and if we don't have, you know, museums and theaters and music and art, people will never want to move here.